You know what time it is. That's right. It's time for Rivals Assemble, a Marvel Rivals podcast. I am your host, Mark Turcott, and you are tuned in here to episode 4. Oh my goodness. We are so close to the launch of this game, and it just continues on and on every week with so much stuff. This week we got Hawkeye's reveal. We have all the Season 0 content from the Imperial Protocol, and we're going to be taking a deep dive into the lore of Jeff this week. See what I did there? Yes. So we got all that plus more coming up here on the show. And to break it all down with me, as always, first up, Matt Clark. Matt, what's up, dude?
Hey, Mark. We are just 2 weeks away. Such a great number. It's the amount of times I had to repeat 7th grade. So I'm feeling it tonight. So much good stuff to talk about.
You learn something new about people every single day.
I'm just kidding. I swear.
Yes, I'm
Okay, so nice you do it twice.
No offense to anybody who did have to repeat 7th grade twice. I'm sure it was just by choice.
And that other voice you heard there, of course, our other good friend, Neil. Neil, what's up, dude?
Hey, Mark. Hey, Matt. Hey, everybody. I have to say I channeled my inner superhero just before we recorded here. It's turning into winter. This is going to be a surprise Canuck corner for you guys. Here we have to change our tires on our car to winter tires for half the year because it's better in ice and snow. And we store mine up top in racks in my garage. So these are, and we have them on ribs, so they're pretty heavy. I haven't, done that in a little while, but I had to get on the ladder and rip it up. And I was thinking like superhero time. We're moving tires.
Nice.
Let's go.
Yeah. Are these tires with chains on them, or do they have like?
Oh no.
The big nubs.
What is this? Sweden? No.
That's what we do here in the States. I feel if you're in one of those states that gets a lot of snow, you just get chains on your regular tires.
Yeah, but Matt, let's be honest. Like both of us living here in the South, like I used to live in New York, and it snowed like 6 or 7 inches. Like whatever, just get out there and drive. Here in the South, it's like just the threat of there maybe being a little bit of snow. Everything shuts down. People somehow can't drive. They're just sliding off over the roads. It's crazy down there.
We're almost, it might be near, in a couple of months, it'll be like 10 years to the day that I got stuck in Atlanta 3 days during snowpocalypse. So
I remember that all the roads were shut down. People were just getting out of their cars, right? And
just leaving them.
Yeah, just leaving them. Crazy.
Walking dead.
Crazy. Well, what's up, everybody? Welcome here, episode 4 of Rivals Assemble. A little bit of housekeeping here before we get going. Of course, if you're tuned into the show, thank you for joining us. However you're tuning in, if you're listening to the audio version of the show, either on Spotify, iTunes, whatever it is, please go ahead, subscribe to the podcast. Leave us a little review if you can. That helps always just support the show and just to spread the word of Rivals Assemble. You can also catch the show live, usually on Thursday nights, over on Twitch and now on YouTube as well. We're streaming to both platforms now live as we are doing this. The recorded version of the show will go up, the video version on YouTube, usually the next day as well. So you can catch that. You can find us on YouTube, of course, Rivals Assemble Pod. That's our tag on both Twitch and on YouTube. And if you want to follow us on Twitter, or we just created our Blue Sky account as well, you can follow us there at Rivals Assemble. So we'll have all those links down in the show notes. And of course, if you want to be a part of the show, which we do have some great questions here later on in the show, you can email us, rivalassemblepod@gmail.com. And of course, reach out to us through all those other platforms. So guys, let's jump in here. We got a packed show. Let's jump into our new segment that we call the Not So Daily Bugle News.
J. Jonah Jameson here.
All right. Well, we're sitting here as we're recording this. What are we? 14 days out? Just about, right? 14, 15 days.
Just in 14 days, 1 hour, 53 minutes, 44 seconds.
Okay. That's a little specific, but okay.
14, the exact number, the exact age I was when I farted in gym class.
Oh, how about that? So
everyone heard it.
So we still have, 5 more heroes on the way, but we did get a big reveal of a hero who was being teased for a little bit that he was on his way. And of course, that is the one and only Clint Barton. Mr. Hawkeye is coming to Marvel Rivals. And we had the official reveal over on the Marvel Rivals Twitter page. And of course, then later on that day, we got a couple matches that were provided to us by NetEase, as well as some training room footage. You can find that stuff out there. People have posted that. And I think even IGN did a IGN video kind of breaking down his kit. But I'll read to you how exactly he was revealed over on the Marvel Rivals Twitter account. And they said, with a tough past and a hard childhood, Clint Barton knew struggle at an early age. Persevering through the hardships, he's become a master and marksman with unparalleled precision. Hawkeye is ready to take aim with his piercing arrow, charging his shot for just the right moment. Prepared to fight anyone at any distance, his blast arrow is sure to wreak havoc to those who dare try and get close to him. Deflecting his enemies is certainly no easy task, but he's ready to prove himself and take on the challenge. So, what do you guys think of Mr. Hawkeye now entering the battle here?
He looks dope.
Wait, are we talking his kit or just straight up aesthetic?
Art.
Aesthetic
is
definitely.
Woo!
He looks hard. Like this.
It's getting
guy
hot in
is
here.
dope.
Woo!
Calm down. This reminds me of it was an Avengers cartoon in the late 90s, early 2000s on the WB. I think it was Avengers United We Stand, where they had to use like B tier Avengers because all the other ones were, if you remember like the old Iron Man show, the old like Fantastic Four show, those big names were held up in those properties. So the characters were like Hawkeye, Tigra, Scarlet Witch, Vision, Wonder Man. And he kind of reminds me of that look of Hawkeye. Everything there was a bit more bulky and not mechanical, but like more
Cyber
armor-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the big things for me is like I love the Ronin Hawkeye. And there was some chatter earlier today about like, oh, maybe the skin we'll get tonight. We're going to get to the skin that they actually showed tonight in the countdown for him. But I was really thinking like maybe we'll get the Ronin skin. But now that I look more just as we're sitting here talking and you look at this Hawkeye, he almost kind of has the Ronin look with the hood kind of all set back, kind of like the Sub-Zero Mortal Kombat mask, ninja mask. Like,
Yep, I was gonna say that.
He just has that. Yeah, he just looks great. Great character model, definitely.
I just recently started working with a trainer, and all I can think about is how, like, that bow is huge. And so to think about the strength that it would take to pull that back, because the tension on that thing is insane.
Yeah. He's got some big arms.
Wear the gloves, right?
He has huge arms.
He's jacked.
Let's be real.
What do you think, Neil?
I think he's great. Big fan of purple as a color. So this art and this costume, it looks awesome. He's got the Sub-Zero vibes for sure. The golden blonde hair and ready to snipe, but he's also jumping in, so
yep.
Obviously I mentioned this with the Psylocke video. No one's shooting him, so he's staying alive the whole time. So I'm
Right,
hoping
yeah.
that
They're all
that's the
scared
angle
of
when I play him.
Well, let's go through his kit a little bit here. So we did learn, we did get the actual page here that does show us all his abilities. So he actually has two. He's almost like Punisher, where he has two different, or I think Bucky's the same way as well. They kind of have two different, I don't want to call them stances, but actual, I guess, weapons, if you want to say. So his number one primary is the piercing arrow. And you basically shoot a powerful arrow. And if you watch him as he plays, you can pull it back and hold it to do more damage. And he has this passive that kind of plays into this as well. So if you aim at an enemy to improve your focus, you actually get more damage the longer you point at the enemy. And if you look below his reticule, there's this little like icon that's there. Mm-hmm. And that little icon, as long as you hold it and you're looking at them long enough, that's when you'll do maximum damage. So, you want to be trying to hold on to it as long as you can, but you also want to try to stay locked onto them as much as you can too, to do more damage. So it's kind of this neat way to make him potentially be a one shot if you can get a headshot on some of these heroes.
Yeah.
But if you're not pulled back all the way, locked in long enough, and then of course hitting the head, you're not going to get that one shot. So I think that's kind of a cool way that they're making him kind of have this skill ceiling to him. So anybody can go in and play him and do some damage, but if you want to be super effective with him, like that's one of the ways you have to do it. And then the other version of his primary, if you hit over on PC, it'd be hitting 2 to switch over to it. It's this blast arrow. So you shoot down these 3 explosive arrows that don't seem to do a ton of damage, but they actually knock enemies back. And it looks like, from what I've been kind of gathering from it, it doesn't look like the closer you are, the more damage you do, which you would think that in almost like a shotgun, let's say. The closer you are, of course, you're going to do more damage. I don't think that's the case with this. So as long as one hero gets hit, they're just going to get blasted back, and it's only going to take off that small amount of damage on them. But that looks like that'd be pretty effective, because he also has one of his other things is he has this Ronin slash. So you're able to kind of pull out these, the Crescent slash. So he also has the katanas. If you watch the video, he pulls those out. It's a way to knock enemies back. So not only can you do that to knock the enemies back, but you can also then use the blast arrow to blast them back as well. So, Neil, we were talking a little bit.
Get away from me.
You kind of mentioned in the chat earlier about how he looked like he'd be a little bit squishy and not have.
Yeah,
so,
you see him walking around. You see him walking around. He's not moving very fast. So, and he doesn't really have any mobility. I think he's got a double jump.
He does,
right? So he can do that. I don't know if that's on a cooldown like Moon Knights, but he's got a couple get away from me's. So you got to really be careful with your positioning. Stay close to your team so they can get you out of trouble, because you're not going to be going invisible and flying away. Yeah. And with that blast arrow, I'm pretty sure they said in the IGN video that no matter if you hit all 3 shots on the same person, it's the same amount of damage, but you can hit more than one person with that, right? So it's kind of like an arc or a like an arc shot.
Yeah,
it goes three wide kind of thing. So you can, if you've got a big group of people, you can use that. If it's just one person you're trying to do, then you use that piercing arrow.
Yep. I think this is a character that a lot of the pro players and a lot of the hard competitive players are going to gravitate toward, because it is how far in are we? And I'm going to start the Overwatch comparisons, which was also commented on this week by the developers. It's like a splash of Genji, a splash of Hanzo, with like the cockiness and movement of a Widowmaker, because Widowmaker doesn't have crazy mobility except for her grapple.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, you just hear that click clack prancing around, just like looking for the shot. But he's 4-star difficulty.
Yeah,
which
makes sense.
I mean, I'll play around with him, but you're not going to see me, guys, I can hop in on Hawkeye if you need someone. Let's go.
Every shot counts. It's not a spray and pray kind of thing, right? Yeah. If you miss your shot, it's a second or so.
That's actually my legal name, spray and pray. So,
for you to reload. And I think with that focus thing, it's if somebody is on your reticle, it charges faster, but you'll still be able to charge if they're not. So it's all about keeping locked on, as you said.
Right.
And there's purple energy that shows too, which look pretty awesome.
Yep. He does. So he does have the double jump. That's kind of like his major mobility, but he also has something pretty interesting, this Ronin slash. So his melee, which is VMPC, he's able to swing basically his katanas again, and it deflects all incoming projectiles. So if you watch, when you see, some of these videos, I mean, he's just deflecting things away, being able to just quickly pull that out. So I think that's when you're going to get to really see kind of the better players are going to be able to not only stay locked in, but then when they see something coming at them, quickly pop that out. But I think the biggest, well, all right, then he also has a hypersonic arrow. So that's kind of his other, his E, where he's able to shoot an arrow that can pierce through multiple enemies, which is great. A lot of MOBAs have kind of characters like this. You always have your archer. I mean, I'm almost surprised he doesn't have a AoE arrow effect. I just almost expected that, because a lot of characters in MOBAs and that.
That's your blast arrow, right?
Yeah, but I'm always thinking like a rain of arrows. I just, for some reason in my head, which I mean, I guess maybe we've never really seen like Hawkeye do that. But yeah, kind of like the Khonshu in a sense. Yeah. But he has a very, very interesting ultimate. So his Q, it's called Hunter's Sight, and it says you capture after images of enemies in his view, and damage dealt to an after image is transferred to the corresponding enemy. So this thing in motion, essentially, like he'll be looking and he sees like 3 enemies on the screen. The minute he pops this thing, the enemies start to try to scatter. But even though they're not there literally is like a little purple hologram or literally an after image of these characters. And all he needs to do is just pop those, and every bit of damage he does to them hits the enemies as well. And on top of that, your archer's focus is locked in and you are firing at a faster rate. And you're
insane.
so it's like you almost don't
sounds
have to
scary.
be. Yeah. So that's going to be a great cleanup ultimate right there.
It's like if you couldn't run from the Bastion ult, you know?
Yeah.
It's like the first thing everybody does, or the first thing you hear when you hear the Diva ult line. It's just like run, but get behind a wall, you know, or just get like a double jump ready. But you can't escape this.
I mean, basically, if you see Hawkeye and you hear that alt pop, you're probably already dead.
It's too late. Yeah,
like you're already dead. But that's, to me, that's great because that fits with the character. Like that's just such an awesome thing to add for him. So, I don't know, man.
Like this,
so cool.
Even looking at the key art for Hawkeye, like this isn't, you know, Jeremy Renner's Marvel Studios, you know, Hawkeye.
No.
This is like a Hawkeye who's been through some stuff. Has
never skips arm day.
Yeah. Well, that too.
Like his arms as thick as my leg. Like, let's be real. It's, I don't know. It's just like everything in the kit is so intentional that, like, looking at it from someone who would want to outfit themselves with this weaponry, it just all tactically makes sense, which as a writer is like, this is beautiful writing, even when just deciding the abilities of a character, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Now, one of the things I noticed, and I'm popping up on the screen if you're watching the video of a match playing out with him. I don't want to say, and this is just clearly not like a professional term or anything, but I always call characters like this, like the jumping bean character. And like for me, I play Lucio that way. And of course, Lucio in Overwatch can wall ride and do all those things, but I'm like constantly jumping as him.
Yeah.
And when you watch this gameplay of this Hawkeye player, they're literally doing that. They're just jumping.
A little peek.
And it's like by doing that, you're able to keep yourself, you know, as a squishy character, keep yourself somewhat safe, but then try to lock in when you can.
Yeah.
And that to me, I think would be a great way to play this character. You just have to be moving. It's not like a lot of times, like you mentioned Widow earlier, Matt. Widow players are perching up somewhere and just locking down and just trying to take those angles and snipe. I don't think Hawkeye, you can play him that way. Number one, because you can't get up there because you don't have the mobility to get up there.
Very true.
But he just seems like you're just not going to want to play him that way. You want to constantly be moving and just keep peppering. He even seems like, I mean, we even mentioned the Hanzo analogy in Overwatch. Yeah, it's there, but he just seems like he can pop the shots off quicker than Hanzo. Hanzo seems like you almost have to just pull it more, and a lot of Hanzo players, you always kind of see them kind of sneaking in the back and that. I don't think Hawkeye is going to be meant to play that way. And I would be interested to see if people are really switching between his two different arrows. Like, how often are you going to be using those blast arrows? Is that going to be more just for maybe an escape to blast them away to kind of allow you to escape? Or is it going to be a just shot, shoot a blast when they're grouped up and maybe shoot a couple blasts and then switch back over? You know, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see.
He seems a lot more aggressive than a Hanzo, if that makes, like you said, you know, Hanzo, not necessarily backline, but he stays protected, where I feel like since he does have the Wakizashi, he can afford to get up into the paint if he wants.
Yeah.
I think he would work just fine sitting at the back too. Like this, I don't know why this person's going up so close. I guess to get it easier to get that charge up, right?
Yeah.
You got a bigger target to charge up on.
Yeah, this complete rando who they let have access to Hawkeye.
Well, and this is a push map or whatever, right?
It is, yeah. So they're moving. Yeah, that's true too.
Thing. Does he have a slow fall or anything? Like it looks like
I don't think so. I mean, looking at his kit, it doesn't say. It just says perform a double jump in the direction of movement. Maybe when you aim, maybe.
Yeah.
So that's the. I think they have a storm with them because I think that's the up arrows. Storm's buff for all of them.
Ah,
I don't think that comes with anything else. Yeah, there she was. I could see her.
hmm.
But that's
But
just doing more
that's damage
damage,
though, right?
right? Yeah, that's
Yeah,
doing more
that's just a
damage.
buff. I don't think it
Doesn't
does
give like a
anything.
wind
Interesting.
turbine or whatever blowing you
Nah.
up to keep them going. But
That would be sick though.
yeah, there's your
Kind of,
idea.
well, talking about how he doesn't have that great mobility, I think it'd be interesting if they incorporated, or just throwing this out there, what if as part of the destructible environments was like, oh, a platform is going to reform here, but on the map, all of this type of platform or this one specific platform will start at the ground level,
Ooh,
and then
like
it moves
rise up.
up. So
Yeah.
kind of giving you an opportunity to get a vantage point if
Elevator.
you are someone who it wouldn't operate like that. Like once it reforms, it's fixed. But when it's reforming out of that, destruction, that's your one chance to get the vantage point.
Ooh, that'd be
So that
sweet.
could be forcing people to either grind away at that HP that we talked about last week for all the environmental things.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, so do the blast arrows do more damage then? Would we assume than the regular just piercing arrow? I mean, I would assume it would, right?
To environments.
To environments, yeah.
Probably,
Not
yeah.
to enemies, but environments. I mean, in
I mean-
theory, it should, right? Based
Yeah.
on kind of what it is, but
Blowing up the wall.
yep. But
Blowing up the wall.
yeah, just once again, man. I mean, they're just knocking these characters out of the
I-
park.
One thing, I don't know if you mentioned it, with the hypersonic arrow, it goes through shields.
Oh,
if
does it
they've
really? I don't
got,
think I noticed that.
They mentioned that on the IGN video. So like,
Shot through the heart.
Man. So I'm thinking right there, I'm thinking like, what, Magneto, Doctor Strange.
yeah,
He's
Ooh.
like,
The
he's
Groot?
straight up
I
an
wonder if it goes
assassin.
through that.
Yeah, would it go through Groot's wall? Maybe not. I don't know. One
If
thing
you're
too,
ever-
and listen, I saw this one in the training videos that Nettie's had sent over. There's one when he's using the hypersonic arrow, and there's a little robot that kind of like goes up in the sky, and he goes by, and he shoots the hypersonic arrow at that robot, and the robot falls. And I couldn't tell when you watch the tracking of the little AI robot. I couldn't get another angle to see if, because he's just moving, and he's kind of moving erratically to kind of like, he's the training robot that you're meant to kind of just follow with your aim.
Right.
Yeah.
So I couldn't tell if the robot actually was being knocked out of the air by the hypersonic arrow, which almost makes sense with the name of what the arrow is, but it doesn't say that on there. And so I couldn't really get clarification on that. But I was like, if you have the ability to take down flight enemies, so a Storm, Iron Man
like
that's
the
just
spear.
hovering, just, characters that are just literally hovering in the sky, Doctor Strange, shoot one of those arrows and make them, like, ground them, that's
That'd be
huge.
great. Yeah,
That's a big thing, which,
Kick
again,
that
they
storm
just
out of the
fly
sky.
again. But what if you knock them down and it has like a 1 second cooldown before they can get back up in the air?
Or Scarlet Witch. Like,
That's huge.
imagine all these Scarlet Witch ults that are going to get killed by a Hawkeye. It's
Yeah.
like, pure good.
So don't quote me on that, but when you watch the training room videos,
Knocked
you
out.
see that. And so, I don't know, like that might be a thing, which I think would be
that'd be
sweet.
big.
Because if you think about it, what do we have right now that counters that? The only thing I can think of is the Penny Parker webbing. They get webbed up and they fall down. Like that's I've done that to alts. And I want to even say, even if you have an Iron Man that's just flying, just doing his regular repulsor blast, if you web him up, he gets webbed and he falls. But I
what
think this
about
would be
Hulk leaps? Does that?
the webbing
knock him
does.
down or no?
The webbing does. It stops him in his place. And he just, wherever you hit him, he kind of like, they
But
all
if-
get like webbed up and just go right down.
If Hulk leaps into a flying guy, does it knock him back?
I don't know.
If Hulk
I don't know,
falls in
I'm
the
making that
forest
up.
and no one's around, does it?
Now, if a
make
Hulk is
sound?
in his alt, a Hulk in his alt, grabbing them, you can grab him in the sky. I would
Oh,
assume.
okay.
Your alternate, your Hulking
You Hulk
it.
in it. Be great. It's great.
Brother.
But yeah, Hawkeye looks awesome. So let us know your thoughts, guys, on Hawkeye. And I'm sure we're going to be talking more here, not only about him as we get some more details, but some of the new heroes that are going to be on the way. This week, the IGN First train continued, and we got a great article diving into Season 0, which we've been told already. We knew was coming. The folks over told us, Guan told us all about it in the video. It's only going to be about a 1 month season. And so the article was called Marvel Rivals Behind the Imperial Protocol, series of cosmetic skins debuting in Season 0 and IGN First. So the article kind of dove into, and they had who did they interview? This was somebody over on the team again. Jinghua, I think was their name. So this was the lead narrative designer for Marvel Rivals, and I think that was one of the more cool things to come out of this article was a lot of the story. And I was pretty surprised at how much story they're building into not only this pass, but I would assume moving forward, this is kind of the way things are going to go. Like they're building these skins specifically for the stories. And like, just to put it into context, you look at a game like Overwatch, and yeah, they have seasons and there's themes, but there's not like story. Like this is straight up like
anymore.
Like we are doing story. Yeah, right. We are doing story. So they did say that, the production team is working closely with Marvel Games to modify and create an expansive background story and world that suited the game's team-based PvP gameplay.
I think you gotta. I think from the perspective as like a creative, but also from the perspective as a gamer myself, it's like I want that in the stuff I'm gonna buy, because recolors don't excite me. I don't feel like they.
Right.
That's the first thing anyone will comment on. Is like, oh, is this skin just a recolor? Why are we wasting our time? But also, I feel like it drives people to make that purchase if they know that there's specific content behind it. If it's like, hey, Neil, look at the skin that I got.
Yeah.
And it's because of, in this level, like, look at that stuff that he's wearing. Like, you can see those symbols on all the stuff on the wall.
That's from that map. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Stuff like that. But also it tells me that, and I said this about Guangguan last week. It's like, these are people who are like invested in the craft. They love, well, it's either one of two things. They love this so much that they want everything to, have that deep, rich lore, or it's a directive from Marvel that everything has to be narratively tied into the game. Which
honestly, I bet it's both.
It's not bad.
I bet it's both. I mean, Marvel, obviously, this is their IP. They want to make sure their story and it's living up to the Marvel name. But on top of that, I mean, the guys in Eddie's clearly are Marvel fans themselves. And you're not going to just, make one of these games and not put in any sort of, narrative, anything into it. So, I think that's great. But I want to go through, because some of these story bits are great. So the first skin that I want to go over that they show in here is this Imperial Black Panther skin. And the article says that these skins, and this one and some of these other ones, are designed around the concept of Afrofuturism, which combines the ancient tribal elements of Africa with futuristic intergalactic technology. So, of course, this is the Imperial Wakanda, or Interstellar Wakanda that we saw in the map. So they say in the story of Season 0, Black Panther has become the monarch of the intergalactic empire of Wakanda, and thus he should have a kingly outfit to match his status. And that's the origin, of course, of the Imperial Protocol Galactic Claw. Which is a sick skin.
So cool. A little bit of purple in there, too, just for me.
Like,
you got to have it.
I saw it. And I was just like, I don't even need to look at the other ones. It was just like, if this is a pack, I know I'm there. Just
probably.
I think these are in the
tied
pass.
to the battle pass.
Yeah. So,
and if this is what we're going to be promised in the battle pass, 100% worth my money.
Yep,
I feel.
I think so too. The next one that they showed was the Imperial Mantis skin, and it says, as for Mantis, in our story, she escaped from the Collector's theme park, then met with the Guardians of the Galaxy. And she said, in Rocket Raccoon, Groot, and Star-Lord's backstory, we explore their experience of repairing the crashed Milano on the planet Clintar, which they went to for a commission they accepted from the Intergalactic Empire of Wakanda. Once they complete their commission, Mantis receives her own battlesuit, the Imperial Protocol Galactic Wings, which combines her aesthetics with futuristic tech. Now, just hold on. That right there, how are they going to give us that in the game is my question. So like right there, like that's a whole story arc.
That's a movie.
Of like, man, so they got this commission, they got to go to Clintar, but their Milano crashed, and how is that going to be presented in Marvel Rivals? We still don't know. Is it going to be like we saw in the alpha and the beta, where Galactica is giving us these story bits, or are these going to be story bits within in the pass, or is it going to be just lore dumps when you hover over the characters? you go in and here's their story for season 0, and you just kind of got to go into the menus. Is there going to be a whole codex within the game? Like, none of that we know yet. But that's exciting. Like, this is great.
You guys know Clintar, right?
Yes, with the
symbiote
symbiotes.
planet.
Yes,
Like that by itself is like
a season.
the next season probably, or wherever. Like, we're going there probably, right?
It's like, oh, we just wrapped up King in Black. Let's just keep going.
I mean, the
forward.
Milano has crashed on Clintar. At some point, they got to go back and get the Milano. So, or is that just going to be a whole season? Like, let's go with the Guardians. We got to go to Clintar, and we're going to have this whole thing, and it's them saving the Milano. And then again, how is that going to be presented in this hero shooter? Like, that to me is the biggest question, and it's just incredibly exciting that the team is all about this. And, oh, man.
You think they're going to do PvE missions?
Please.
I don't know,
Please.
dude. Like, part of me is now reading all this. Are they going to just want players just to read this? Like,
Digital comic?
I mean,
They haven't announced any other
Modes.
they just said modes. So
And with new, I think even new season, every season we're getting heroes, maps, and I think they even said modes.
that's what it's like. I feel where that PvE was the big thing that was hyped up with Overwatch, and ultimately one of the things that kind of turned a lot of people off of Overwatch 2 when it was said that development had stopped on it. But I feel I don't need a huge push. Like the last big PvE push we got with Overwatch was that big 3-mission Omnic invasion event, which was sick. Don't get me wrong. But like, give me a mission every season.
To kick off the season.
Yeah, don't go crazy. Don't go hard. It's like we want longevity. Like, I don't need you to give me, a 3-hour experience every season.
Yeah.
Just give me like something that I can keep replaying and
And I mean, I could see. I mean, when you boil down what some of those Overwatch missions really were, they were just kind of like basic horde modes, essentially.
Yeah, 100%.
But I think even if you just took that model and put it into Rivals, and even if you did it where the first week of the season, here it is, introducing the story of the season, and maybe you can have it playable, even if you wanted throughout the whole season. But then at the end, do a wrap-up mission to it, and trickle throughout the battle pass, audio logs, all that stuff, and then at the end you kind of have the wrap-up mission, and so you're always tying these things together. And with all these heroes already having their kits kind of built out that give you the power fantasy of playing as these heroes, I don't know. I think it's just almost a no-brainer, I would think, for them. And if it's not in there at launch and they're not thinking about it yet, I think they would be crazy to not be thinking about it, because I think that would really push people just to play it more. Because, I mean, even buying the skins themselves, it's great. These skins have these backstories to them, especially the ones that are being specifically built for the game, which we're going to get to the different types of skins. But it just would make you want to buy it even more, because then the story 100%. Of that skin, I think, is just I don't know. It's I can't wait to see where this is going to go.
Let's go to the next one.
Go to the next one. I saved this one, even though this was the second one in the article. I saved it for last because I knew this was the one that Matt wanted. And it's the old Captain America one.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So Captain America also has a skin in this series, the Imperial Protocol Galactic Talon. This is because Captain America is in Wakanda during Season 0 story, something those who watched the Gamescom trailer would already be aware of. And for Captain America's Imperial Protocol skin, they combined his signature bald eagle elements with futuristic technology. So yes, take a deep breath, Matt. Take a deep breath.
Beautiful. First off, I love Captain America. Second off, all of these armors, let's be real, they're sets of armor which are amazing. They are so reminiscent of like Japanese mechs, I feel.
Yep.
And kind of lend themselves. There's I'm sure it was a ploy to sell toys, but I think 2018, 2019, it was a book called Marvel Marvel Mech Strike.
Yes,
where
I know exactly
all
what you're
the
talking about.
heroes
Yep.
like they got depowered, and so instead they like Captain America piloted a Captain America mech. For those of you who might not know what mechs are, think like Power Ranger Megazords or Gundams or stuff like that.
Evangelions.
And so it's just this also reminds me of Captain America, Sharon Rogers, and Marvel Future Fight. A lot of an original character for that game. They just took big swings and would just give her the sickest skins of just like random themes. But yeah, I'll let you get into the nitty gritty.
Yeah, the skin is great. It looks great. And one thing that they did mention here when they were kind of showing off, because these were the only 3 skins that they showed, but these are not going to be all the skins that will be in there. They said it's not limited to just those 3. A new hero who is launching later and plays a role in this story will also be getting one of these Imperial Protocol skins. So we know we're guaranteed at least 4 of these Imperial Protocol skins. And then the question was asked, how are these skins acquired? Because that's kind of been the big question, right? I mean, we were able to see the shop in the alpha and the beta, but of course that was all just kind of testing and nobody was actually spending money in there. But they said, as for how to obtain the seasonal story skins, some will be unlocked through the Battle Pass progress, and the others will be purchasable through the in-game store. Some future seasonal story skins will also be obtainable for free by completing seasonal stories and major events. So, number 1, awesome that you don't have to get the Battle Pass to get some of these, what will be like these seasonal story skins. But also, seasonal stories, just completing a seasonal story. So, what does that even mean? Like, if you don't buy the Battle Pass, but how are you completing a free seasonal story? So, is that like maybe the free track of a pass? And what are these major events going to be? Like, are these PvE type missions maybe that we're kind of thinking about? Maybe, I don't know.
Or maybe like play 5 games.
It could be something as simple as
or
that.
maybe it's like Fortnite. Log in between Thursday and Sunday to fight fight Doctor Doom.
Right. Or like in this story, we have to they have to fight to get the Milano off Clintar, right? Like that's kind of the big culmination is like the whole thing is for the Guardians to get the Milano. So you have to fight.
You got to kill Null
to get to the Milano, and then of course the next season, Null comes to take his revenge, and everybody gets Venomized skins. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Do it, except for Jeff.
What?
Oh, you would think so. Just you wait, my friend.
But yeah, so that was pretty great to see. They also mentioned, I guess, a setting of the intergalactic empire of Wakanda. And they said, is this a new concept or something already in the comics? Could you introduce it a little bit? And we talked a little bit last week, but they did go into it and say that, it's in the comics, the 2018 Black Panther. I can actually like vividly see that cover too of them kind of jumping. I think I have it actually here. I have a box of comics next to me. I think it's in there. But T'Challa sent a team of Wakandans through a temporal anomaly, and they would spend the next 2,000 years establishing a second Wakanda in another galaxy. And this Wakanda would become a super empire spanning several galaxies. And this concept inspired us as we expanded upon it. And it was said in the comics that Wakanda's vibranium originated from a vibranium meteorite. With that as a starting point, we went on to write how the Wakandans found the source of the meteorite in the vibranium's origin, built a magnificent planetary orbital platform around the ore's mother planet, and finally migrated the entire kingdom into space. The outbreak of the time stream entitlement in Season 0 caused Chronovium to not only deeply merge with the vibranium's mother planet, but also affect the heart-shaped herb and the Jalia in yet unknown ways. The two leaders of Wakanda, Black Panther and Shuri, differed in their ideas for how to handle the situation, which in turn triggered the dispute in Wakanda. And essentially, I think everything I just said there is the basis for Season 0 of Rivals.
You think Shuri's the unnamed character?
Oh,
that would be sick.
Maybe, dude. What would her kit even be? I think
maybe like a support, right? She's
probably, yes. Yeah, she'd have little gadgets and all that.
Tech.
Yes.
Yeah. Give people armor and
like bots that could switch between
strategist.
heals and damage, kind of like a Moira-esque, maybe. I don't know.
Oh man.
Or it might be like a Wakanda enemy type, right? Because we do have enemies.
I mean, it does say that her and the Black Panther are differing and how to
In the
handle the
s-
situation.
Sure.
Wakanda Civil War, like
Her bed's in the game already, so
That's right. Shuri's bed is in there.
right.
They just took a little tour of it.
Yeah.
So, do you get a
She's got her
boost if you
stuffy
go in there
there.
and you're her? I don't know. It'd be kind of weird. Um,
Change costumes.
moving on. They said that there were going to be 5. This is we're getting away from the story now. There's 5 different types of skins that they're
viewers
producing
just dropped.
for the game. Number 1, the seasonal story skins, like the Imperial Protocol that we got to see here. The second,
So-
oh, go ahead.
One thing with that is thinking about it now, these skins, they're way too cool. I don't know if they'd be tied to the battle pass, but with just to compare with Overwatch, when they had the Diablo crossover, whatever,
Mhm.
they had the Lilith skin, the other stuff, all the stuff everybody really wanted, and that was an extra $50 that was separate from the battle pass. So I'm kind of worried that that's what's going to happen here, because they did say story skins purchasable in the shop. So probably the best stuff's going to be extra money, the okay stuff will be on your battle pass, and then whatever's left gets to be
Yeah,
the
which
free
I
through the
mean,
thing.
that is par for the course, right?
Bit
When it comes to
pessimist,
these games,
yeah.
I mean, that is what it is. What it is.
Is it bad that I don't have a problem with that? It's like I don't feel that. I don't know. I don't. You put what you want into the game, so it's like if you
Yeah.
don't want to pay money, like okay, you don't get everything, but it is free to. Well, it is free to play, so they got to make their money somewhere.
Yeah.
It's like it's a weird back and forth balancing act.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The second, of course, comic classics. They said they'll go through and select some of the most memorable and classic hero costumes in the original comics to make the skins, staying as true to those designs as possible, which is great. The third category, of course, is the MCU, which we've already seen some of those in Marvel Studios' Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It says those skins are inspired by the movies and TV shows. Now, we do know, as far as I think what Guan said, is we are getting a MCU
Pack?
Marvel Studios Guardian 3 pack, right? So that could be one of the packs that would be
Right.
in the skin. So that would be kind of an analogy to what you said about Overwatch. That could be the
Yep.
$50 pack where you just get all these skins, or you can buy them piecemeal maybe if you want. The fourth category is popular themes. So I think we saw these in the alpha and the beta with like these 1872 kind of steampunk. Rocket
Yeah.
had one, Iron Man had one. So they're going to kind of look at just different themes from movies, games, books, things like that people think are cool, essentially, it seems, and kind of create skins based off those. And then the last category, and this is exciting.
Ice Cream Captain America.
This is great, is festive holiday skins, some of which can be obtained for free in seasonal stories and major events, and others which can be purchased. So they
Done.
did say winter events may be more inclined towards snowfall and other wintry concepts.
Very safe answer.
I
Who
love
gets the
it.
Santa hat? Who gets the Santa skin?
Hulk.
Ooh.
I don't know. I want Iron Man to have it.
The hat? Maybe they all just get a hat. Who gets the okay? Hulk gets the beard, right? He gets
No,
like the too long Santa beard. You know, it doesn't like fit him properly. It's just kind of like dangling.
Jeff is going to have the Rudolph nose.
Oh, definitely. Jeff has to be
Ooh.
Rudolph for sure. I love these holiday skins. There was in the game Paragon, which now you can play it as predecessor. The fans kind of put the game back out. They put out these holiday skins, and the one character, Richter, he's just this big, massive guy, and he would have these chains that he throws out. And for his Christmas skin, he's just covered in Christmas lights, and he would throw
Nice.
like the chains
That's
were literally
sick.
Christmas lights, and it was like one of the greatest holiday skins in any game I've ever seen. And like
Awesome.
I still just when I play as Richter, I just rock that skin just because it's just so awesome.
That's I'm the person who will be like, oh, it's Thanksgiving. I need to be switching all my skins to holiday, and I actually need to do that in Overwatch because like the Diva skin, like the mech is part sleigh, like Santa's sleigh, and it's just like,
Sweet.
of course I'm gonna do that.
But I
Like,
mean, as Bastion, you can sing Jingle Bells all throughout the year. Which
All
I,
year.
I do it literally every
All
game.
match.
All match
All
long
match,
too.
all
On top
year.
of that,
you can be Bastion as Bumblebee from Transformers singing Jingle Bells,
which I
like,
do almost daily.
top tier.
Yep, anytime.
So
it's great.
I don't recall, like there's sprays and voice lines, right? So
Yep.
do you can customize each hero?
Sprays, yeah, there are not voice lines as far as I know in the game. I think the only
Yeah.
there was emotes, so they did have like I
Mhm.
remember the characters would all do like a heroic pose. But you know what? That's one thing they haven't mentioned at all in this article. All we've seen really talk of is skins, nothing cosmetic like that. I mean, they did say, I think like, I think Guan actually mentioned like some cosmetic goodies or something. He said, and I took that as the sprays, the player icons, that would be showing your level and stuff like that when players are looking at your name on the scoreboard and stuff. But he didn't mention emotes.
I don't need, like, I know it's become a thing that people expect, but like, I don't need emotes and sprays. Like, if you could amp up your skin game, which is a weird combination of words to say.
Come on, it was a family-friendly show.
Skin game.
And that was even creepier.
I'm on a list somewhere. If you can up that, the level of
the quality of your skins.
Thank you.
Your in-game skins.
Increase the quality of skins that you're delivering. Shove that stuff to the side. I feel like
they're more like loot box filler, right? That's where it comes from. Those they used to have loot box, and you can't just get it full of skin. You need something else in there.
I'll be honest though, dude. I love one of my favorite parts of like an Overwatch match is those first like 30 seconds, just sitting in the room of people just like doing dumb stuff. And we had that in Rivals, and you would go in there and people were just kind of, but like we didn't have enough emotes at that point, in the alpha beta. Yeah. So hopefully, I didn't even think of those things. Like hopefully those will be there, because it's always fun doing that. But the cool thing Rivals did too was we had the dialogue between characters, which was great. Yeah. So which was very modern, even caught up with the comics. I remember like Magneto talking about like Krakoa and stuff like that, which was awesome.
Yeah.
But then also
that's like the age of Krakoa is over, so
it's over now, right? So I guess it's not even not relevant now.
Current.
But also there were little Easter eggs around those starting points, which I mean Overwatch does the same thing. But like I love that stuff, like just taking the time in the beginning to kind of go around and look at that. So hopefully we'll be getting some of that. Yeah. But overall, go check this article out. I mean, I think diving into some of that story stuff and kind of just now we really get to wonder like how is that stuff going to be conveyed in the game. But it kind of gives us a nice little start to the story. So interested to see kind of where that's going to go. We also got this week a Wakanda map trailer, which I mean we did of course get this revealed last week. I think on last episode we talked about this. The IGN first I think had this, but Marvel Rivals themselves actually put this out now, so they put it out over on their Twitter feed, and it just kind of gives you, I don't even want to say a walkthrough. It's just almost like just this gorgeous set piece of many of the just beautiful locales on this map. And
so this isn't the same, or it is the same.
It is the same
locations,
just different locations. Because remember, this is like a 3-part map basically. So
okay, so there's not a 4th part or a new map.
Yeah, no.
These are all locations in
the only other map or setting that's ever made me go wow like this is and
all those trees and stuff. I don't remember that from the walkthrough.
I'm gonna sound like an idiot. In Destiny, the tower or the
the tower is
just looking out and like at the seasons when it's either like there was the invasion, or like the celebration when you finally, finished the most current campaign or whatever, and just the epic ways that they were able to change the settings. Like this is the only other game that I've been like, oh my gosh, that is beautiful.
Yeah. There is at the very end of this trailer too. We're not going to go too deep into this because I know there's a lot of speculation, but they kind of give you the splash screen of showing Marvel Rivals, and there's a couple different icons that kind of pop up. And I've seen a lot of chatter of people saying this is kind of teasing the different gods that are at play here, and that maybe that's what Doom, one of these time stream Dooms, is kind of messing with, and that he's messing with the gods, and ultimately that's going to kind of culminate in, wherever the overarching story of Rivals is going. But I don't know how much is kind of now having that IGN first article and then not having them really mention too much about that yet in there. But of course, they could be hiding some of that. I don't know if we should even waste any time on that right now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I feel like that's I feel like that also makes the story so much more complicated
Right.
by like pulling in gods. Like Afrofuturism is like its own like sort of vibe, and kind of, I don't know, extending it to that is just like, how much can we cram into season 0 that is a month long?
Yeah.
Right.
Now, one thing we didn't mention, actually, just speaking of maps, was in that Hawkeye reveal video, there was actually a footage of a new map. And so something we hadn't seen yet. This was a Hydra-themed map that we saw in
Okay.
there. So what did you guys think of that? I'm going to try to go back and let me get that footage pulled up here.
It looked like it had high catwalks kind of thing and smaller corridors, some of the spots, and you saw Hawkeye knocking people off the side. That's one thing with his blade. I want to play him, come to Wakanda, knock people off the
Off the waterfall.
the dueling waterfall. Yeah.
I am the Black Panther now.
Yeah.
Hawkeye can't say
Duly.
that.
Kind of industrial.
We need that city industrial, like there's going to be the intergalactic Wakandan Empire, Shin Shibuya, but then we're also going to be getting like New York or Berlin,
New York, 3
something.
199.
They got to give us like a chill one.
Yeah. This one looks
feel
cool
like
though,
this
man.
would be
This Hydra base. I mean, they're seeing that it's clearly like in the Arctic somewhere. I mean, when they're outside, you can see that it's all hidden in the snow caps of some random Antarctic, location. But yet, then at another point, they kind of get deep into this area where there's like almost looks like a Mustafar type thing. Like there's like either lava or like this orange glowing thing. And then I don't know if you noticed, there were some tentacles in the background of there. So I don't know, is there some sort of creature or something down there? Is Hydra messing with some sort of mutant?
Could this be Savage Land? Like,
I don't know.
Work through the levels. I don't know. I love games with like a tower mode where it's like, just working your way up or down,
Yeah.
Trying to clear every level. And I think that would be a fun team mode, just to be like, capitalize off the season mechanics that Destiny does, where it's like, who can, get through this the fastest, who can do this. And it just introduce like, clear the underground passage to the Savage Land, descend through the levels and, get, I don't know, emerge and kill Sauron first or something like that. I don't know.
It's awesome. All right. So yeah, go when you watch the reveal, this was the I think the reveal they put up of Hawkeye on the Marvel Rivals Twitter account. You can see that map. And hopefully soon, really hoping very soon, we're going to get some sort of reveal of the map itself and get more of a walkthrough and learn about the different modes, because there's no location on here where it looks like a payload. So this would be more like almost like a domination.
Yeah,
type.
it was a capture the point.
Yeah.
You saw that there. There was one that they were battling over.
Yep. So,
Awesome.
But yeah, looks like a cool map for sure. But of course, as the march to launch continues, that means every single day we're getting new skins. We're going to kind of go through some of these. We did get yet another MCU skin, and this time we got the Loki Season 2 skin, of course, coming from Marvel Studios, Loki Season 2. What do you guys think of this one? I mean, it's
a good one. Solid Loki skin.
Yeah, I guess if you're a big Loki fan, this one may be for you. For me personally, it looks good. I don't think it's one that I would go out myself and purchase.
Yeah.
But part of that is just because I'm not a huge Loki player yet. But I have a feeling that if I get into Loki, that he may be one that I would keep up with.
Some of these skin reveals in the key art where it's just kind of their face or their bust kind of thing, you don't get a full appreciation. Similar with the Magic one, or even
you're right. Yeah, you're right.
The Iron Man one.
Yep.
As soon as they showed a little bit of animation with that skin, I'm like, oh yeah, that looks pretty good.
Yeah, dude. When you watch the video with Guan in it and you see the superior Iron Man, it's just like, yeah, that skin is awesome, because you get to see all the effects, you see it in motion. So yeah, that could be like this Loki. I'm trying to remember in season 2, like the cape that he's wearing. Like if this thing is very flowy and just looks great in motion. That yeah, maybe this is the Loki skin to be rocking, like when you play him.
Yeah.
But speaking of,
Until we get President Loki or Alligator Loki.
which President Loki wasn't that the one that was in the alpha and the beta, right?
Oh,
Was
it was. Yeah.
Yeah, which still looked sweet. I mean, it still was awesome. But speaking of some of the key arts, looking awesome, Neil, dude. The Punisher 2099 skin.
See, this is it. You get to see the whole
ridiculous.
thing. Get to see
Yeah.
all his weapons. You know,
Oh, it's so
look at
good.
those greaves he's got on.
This thing
Well,
in motion.
I think notably because this is like an original, having done some deep dives on some of these new skins, this is a little bit of a departure from the traditional Punisher 2099 in the comics.
Okay,
It's like their interpretation of it. So
pretty.
maybe
sweet.
that means like the ones where they just give us the head or the bust, that it's just like, no, that's just like we slapped it on.
yeah.
Well, obviously not that. They took care and time. But this is like, really, we want to hype you up.
Karen time.
do their own
It
feel
looks
of
great.
it.
This looks
That's
awesome.
great.
We also got a new Winter Soldier one, and this is the Revolution. So the man bun exists in Marvel Rivals. I saw people going crazy over that. And a lot of people saying that, yeah, this was their the new boyfriend. I saw a lot of people already wanting to marry Revolution
Oh, yeah.
Winter Soldier.
Which is,
I mean, there's room on that couch.
I
At least two, maybe
I-
more.
do you guys know anything about the Revolution?
I don't actually. No, I don't.
It's pretty controversial in the comics because they basically retconned Bucky's past in the last couple years. And this comes from his new storyline. So it's a sick skin, don't get me wrong, but it's
Okay.
controversial, got people divided on, how they feel about it.
Well, it looks pretty good. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
The skin is pretty awesome. And then the next one we got was a new Cap skin, the one that I like to dub the He-Man skin, which I
Yeah.
love it. This is
100%.
Captain Gladiator, and it just looks so cool. It's essentially what Cap on Planet Hulk, right? Kind of like through that whole
Sakaar.
storyline, yeah, and Scar. Yeah, the skin is pretty sweet, but he does definitely look like He-Man, and I love every minute of it. Being a
That's great.
Masters of the Universe fan.
It's gonna be hard to choose which one to wear, or maybe you can like pick favorites and it randomizes.
Oh, that'd be
between your
great. Yeah,
favorite.
just like cycle me every match.
I mean, it still kills me. Like, I go back years ago, like when Fortnite first came out, and my kids were buying these skins, and I'm like, why are you wasting money? These skins don't matter. And then flash forward 5 or 6 years, and I'm literally like just throwing money at these games. Like, give me all the skins. I want them all. And with this game, I do. Just give me all. Just give me
Yeah.
every single one of these things.
Hey, if you're not buying physical comics to like fill up your house, buy the skin.
There you go. That's right.
I think that's the big thing with the third person action, right?
It's
This makes more
huge,
sense
dude.
to me
Yes.
than Overwatch spending
Yep.
money on that stuff, because you get to see it, you get to enjoy it, and everybody else, rather than just through.
I get it, Neil. I get it. Okay, fine.
But they knew, and I remember answering some of those questions about they had a survey or something. They're like, how do you really feel about third person? Is this cool for you? I'm like, yeah, because you can see what's
see it
going on.
yourself,
You
yeah.
see how you're outfitting yourself and all that.
See yourself get knocked out a lot clearer.
There you go.
Or is that just me?
Yeah. Let's see. We also had a Namor skin from the MCU. This is the Marvel Studios Black Panther Wakanda Forever skin, which again, a little zoomed in, so we're not getting the full garb. But I'm gonna be honest, like I just love the straight up Namor Marvel Rivals skin. So I don't think that I would be really jumping into this one. But it still looks great from what we can see. It looks like
This
great
is your summer skin.
presentation. Maybe that's it. Yeah.
You know,
You're right.
when you're switching out your skin closet from
Yeah.
summer skins, putting your lifeguard Mercy and your lifeguard Lucio on.
when you're molting your skins, shedding.
Yeah, it's like, oh, let's bring out Marvel Studios Black Panther Wakanda Forever no more. Bet.
Perfect.
I was a big fan of Namor in the in the beta. I think he might be one of my main range
great.
duelists kind of things.
Yep.
So I'm interested to see what other skins they get. And he's tied to Wakanda. He might have another skin in the season pack too, right?
True.
Season 0.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he might be somebody that we might see pop up in there for sure. And then the final one, the one that came out here tonight as we are recording this, was the Hawkeye skin. And this was the Galactic Fang skin, which is yet another skin that Matt is just throwing every ounce of anything that can have any form of currency at his phone, at his computer, iPad, whatever he's got.
Apple Pay, let's go.
Tap,
Let's go.
tap, 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 tap.
Tap, tap, tap.
That's how you're dancing.
And notably, a Rivals original.
Yes. Doesn't have a comic book tied to it. Marvel Rivals Season 0. First
Love
of
it.
So what I love about this is it feels so inspired by Japanese tokusatsu, which is like armored heroes like Kamen Rider or Space Sheriff or there's so many other ones, but like it's a specific vibe that Marvel I think this fits into that category of this goes along with the set, the
Imperial
Galactic
Protocol.
Yeah, I wonder if this is the one they were talking about.
I mean, it might be. Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, it could. Well, but did it say a hero? Well, yeah, hero not revealed. So yeah, it is. Well, there goes Shuri. There goes our idea of Shuri.
Oh.
Sorry, girl.
Womp womp.
Unless there's another reveal that we don't.
Could be. Yeah, true.
But yeah, it's just so good. That's all.
Yeah, it looks great. He looks more like a ninja in this one. I was actually chatting with a creator earlier today about the idea of like either customizable skins. And this was when, again, me dreaming about the Ronin skin that I'm sure we're going to get at some point for Hawkeye. But we were talking about the idea of putting the hood on and taking the hood off. And then that led to the discussion of, well, this is a superhero game. Mm-hmm. Superheroes put their masks on and they take their masks off. So what if we just do that with all these skins? Like, give you the ability to do that. Now, of course, I know it's not as simple as just change the head asset on the skin. They're essentially creating two skins to do that. So I know it's asking, way more for what these devs really need to be doing. But I thought that would be kind of neat to have certain skins that have that. And of course, there probably would be a more premium skin at that point, where a paid skin. But it would be cool to be Ronin and either have the hood up or have the hood down, or be Spider-Man and run with the mask on or take the mask off, or even Venom. Same thing. Like, I think that'd be kind of neat if they gave you, and it would make sense in a superhero game for you to be able to do that, because you're able to, play as, or maybe you buy the skin and then every skin has its own little pass built within it, and you are unlocking the different aspects of a skin, so you're investing in the skin and getting your own little thing to work for. I think might be a cool little option if they put something like that in the game.
Yeah.
But
grind it.
It's so good. Gosh, I just keep looking at it.
Yeah. Is this going to be like a date? Well, this may be
100%
in the past. I mean, I know we're all getting the pass, but yeah, looks great. All right. Well, that's pretty much it for the news this week, guys. Of course, next week I know we're going to have the more countdown on the skins, but if we only have, Hawkeye was number 14 in the countdown. So we still, as far as we know, have 5 more heroes? We got a question later on. We're going to get into all that, but
pick up the pace.
Yeah, we're there, man. Like we're very, very close. So
running out of time.
What if it's like what if they're just like, oh, it's the Stepford Cuckoos from X-Men, and they're just like all 5. Sorry, that's it.
Season 0.
That's all we get. And they all play exactly the same.
Yeah,
that's it. Nothing special about their kids.
You have to buy each one of them separately. They're premium.
All right. Well, that's it for the news. There will be links to all this in the show notes. So if you want to find something we were talking about, and I do urge you, go read that IGN article just for the story bits, because obviously I spit a bunch of it into the microphone here, but when you actually read it, you can comprehend it. And I highly recommend you do it, especially if you're interested in the lore of this game. I think it's just scratching the surface of what we're in for when this game finally launches and where we're going to go beyond this first season. But all right, let's move on here to our next segment, our lore segment that we call the Cerebro Files. All right. Well, this week, my friends, we are taking a little trip into Funland with our good friend Jeff. So with this today, we are talking about Jeff. We're taking a dive in with Jeff. If you're watching the video, I do have a great video of Jeff on the screen. Actually, hold on. Oh, maybe that's not the best video of Jeff. Not in the best way you could see him if you're watching the video.
Ring, 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 ring.
It's
Studio
a video.
phone. Wait. Hold on, Mark. That's Marvel PETA. Yeah, let me put you on
Again?
hold. We'll talk to you. I don't know how they got this number. Hold on.
So this is my favorite video from the beta. I think this was in this. Yeah, because Jeff was only in the beta of me playing as Hulk, hulking out, grabbing Jeff.
Oh,
and
ouch.
Just Jeff not exactly
Yeah.
surviving so much because you can
He
as
caught
Hulk
out
grab
without his team.
him.
You know?
I actually just ran him down. I think is what happened in here. I grabbed him,
Yeah,
slammed,
yeah.
but he didn't die. If you notice, he gets slammed and then he gets up and then I just give him one little punch at the end and get the knockout.
Because he's got the power of
He's
God
full
and
health.
anime on his side.
Right when you grab him.
He is, yeah. So there you go. So as Jeff can survive, or at least in the beta, could survive a Hulk out, grab, slam, and then still he needed one more shot at the end. So he almost got away.
Should have dove in the water right away.
Crazy.
I feel like this is kind of like our friendship, Mark. It's just like I find something that I like, and Mark's like, you like it.
You
now.
know I don't love you or like you if I'm not making fun of you. That's just kind of the way that it goes. So.
Such a healthy relationship.
But in all seriousness, let's get into some Jeff here, Matt. I know you got some good details about our buddy Jeff. So
Yeah. So I
Go ahead,
don't
my
know.
friend.
I've just been, and the more I've read and just dived into our buddy Jeff, I'm not the only one who's just become taken with him. It's kind of like become a underground favorite for a lot of people, kind of like the Marvel mascot, if you will. I feel like Lockjaw once upon a time had that role.
okay, yeah, he did. You're right.
He's kind of been pushed aside after, with the Inhumans have kind of failed to find their footing in modern Marvel. And so Jeff has, taken that. So Jeff, you see him on screen now, Jeff the Land Shark, also known as Jeff the Baby Land Shark, or you may know him by his Christian name, Jeffrey. That he is called by his owners when he gets in trouble or does something naughty.
Jeffrey.
No.
Jeffrey,
So,
would you stop it, Jeffrey?
and I'll get to that. Created by Kelly Thompson. If you are into comics, she is the writer, most recently Captain Marvel, Hawkeye, A-Force, that all-female hero team. She did a run on Deadpool, Black Widow, West Coast Avengers, and right now is writing Absolute Wonder Woman for DC, which if you're not reading, like, go pick it up. It's an amazing book. But she's done so much more than that. And art by Daniele Di Nicuolo, who I love personally because he did the Boom Studios run of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, created some original canon Power Rangers in the comics, which have spun off to get their own action figures, and it's a whole thing. You can check out my other podcast, Power Rangers Assemble, for that. But he does art for Miles Morales, West Coast Avengers, Marvel Snap. He's done a lot of work for an original book, Seven Secrets, and a lot of other stuff with Marvel, DC, and Boom. Wanted to give those creators their flowers because it's a pretty recent character in probably like the last 5 or 6 years. First popped up in West Coast Avengers, a new launch of that. Historically, the book was, once upon a time, it was the book where like Vision and Scarlet Witch originally got together. And that spun off like Vision Quest and stuff like that. Some of those really popular things at the time. This title, this volume of West Coast Avengers that he's introduced in, like, look at Jeff. That's the vibe of this book.
He's awesome. He really is.
So he is there, let me read you the official blurb from Marvel. Um, Able to swim in the sea and walk on land, Jeff the Land Shark is aptly named, and he helps heroes too, making him a hero in his own right. Uh, so he's like the best boy. He was created. He was one of many, a pack of land sharks, if you will, created by MODOK. Um, but this was West Coast MODOK. You know, he was going through a phase in his life where he wanted to redefine himself, and so he was going by Brodock.
Did he have like a Hawaiian
that
shirt
real?
on or like a?
This is 100% real. And
What?
basically he created this gang of land sharks to take revenge against all the women who had previously rejected him in life. This is canon. But the
I
West
still
Coast
don't believe
Avengers stepped in, and kind of redirected this pack of land sharks. And notable at the time on the team was Gwenpool, which, a lot like Deadpool, character breaks the fourth wall. She is from our world, knows that she's in a comic book, knows that she is a visitor, and she sees Jeff and takes pity and kind of adopts him, and because he doesn't want to go back with the other land sharks, basically. And there was actually, when the character was getting created, it wasn't going to stick around. Basically, they wanted to have a running gag with Gwenpool, is that she would randomly adopt strays and name them all Jeff. So before Jeff the Land Shark, she had Jeff the Cat, which didn't stick around for long. But response was like explosive to Jeff the Baby Land Shark, that he stuck around. And kind of like over the books, Gwenpool had this realization. She's like, you know what? Books that I'm in tend to get canceled by Marvel. So, this fourth wall breaking thought. And so she's like, why don't you go stay with Deadpool? Because his book will keep running. And then it got canceled. Like legitimately.
Wow.
He's been passed around to Elsa Bloodstone, the Monster Hunter, and most recently Kate Bishop, Hawkeye, who he's currently with. And because the vibe of the character was just so feel good, Mark, you've talked about this. He got his own line of Infinity Comics on Marvel Ultimate. Thank you. And they've actually published that in print form.
That's sweet. Yeah, see, that I didn't know, man. I thought they were just
it's
finished
Jeff.
books.
And if you are a parent and you're listening to this, It's Jeff is the perfect storybook for you and your kids. It is minimal text, minimal speech. It's cute little Sunday funny comic strip style cartoons.
Exactly, dude. If that's what I was thinking, and I want to mention that, it feels like the Sunday comics.
Just like cute little slice of life stuff. Like, oh, Jeff makes cookies in the kitchen, and then Captain America like pats him on the head and he walks away, and oh no, Jeff left the kitchen a mess. Oh, that darn Jeff. Or it's just like what else? Oh, Jeff wants to go outside, but people are scared that he's a shark. So he goes and gets a dolphin costume and people love him, I
mean, when we were, before we started recording, I was showing Neil one on Marvel Unlimited, and it was Jeff wanted some fish and he goes to get the fish, but he sees a cat and the cat, he growls at the cat or whatever, but he realizes the cat's actually hungry. So he takes the fish into the alleyway and gives the cat the fish.
To the cat and its babies. And then the last shot is like all of them laying down together. And it's just like, come on, dude.
It's like, Jeff.
Like,
he could be, I think I put it in our little conversation the other day. He could be Marvel's Grogu. Like what Grogu has become for Star Wars, Jeff, if they put him in like an MCU movie somehow to some extent to like give him that broader notoriety, he would become the plushie. He would become the sticker on every car. He would be all of those things that Grogu has become. He could be that for Marvel. Put him in the next Guardians movie or the next Thor movie or whatever, and then He's
don't
perfect.
need him in a. I don't know. I don't want my Jeff to go mainstream too soon. You know.
Okay.
I don't know. But critics have loved him. Like the Jeff verse, which is another collection of his stories, because there have been multiple seasons of the Infinity comics. It won best humor at the Eisner Awards this year.
Wow.
He's like
Which is
Ziggy. You know the
huge.
Ziggy comics? He's like a Ziggy.
But also, and I don't know, just so many good things. But yeah, Neil, especially, I feel like your kids would love.
Going on the Christmas list.
It's
told me.
Jeff.
What's
It's
your
Jeff issue 1,
promo
and
code?
it's a thickum. It's got a lot
Yeah.
of stuff. You might need to put it in like a page protector or something like that.
Yeah, maybe I
like-
could get like a hardcover if they have a.
I know there's a trade coming out, but it's not
Yeah.
until next year.
But you know what, dude? Now that I think about it, I bet you Marvel Rivals will push Jeff up
Yeah.
to just as well. Here I am saying you got to put him in the MCU. Maybe you don't. Maybe he can just be this random character that when you go to that hero screen and you see Captain America, Iron Man, Venom, Spider-Man, and then you're like, what the heck is this little shark? People will go out and search that out. And maybe that's the reason, like we had mentioned, like give people the option to somehow take a jump into the comics through Rivals. Give them a code for a comic or something like that. What is that?
Yeah, if only he had like good skin options. Oh, this is Venom Jeff. Jeffem.
Death of the Venomverse.
Jeffem.
That's
So this
amazing.
is just a variant cover from Death of the Venomverse.
Jeffrey Brock.
But this week, actually, I was at the comic store today and had to do a deep
We are Jeff.
dive. There's an event going on right now called Venom War, and Jeff got his own issue of It's Jeff, the Venom War, where
God, dude, I'm so going
he
to the comic shop this
combines
week.
with the symbiote.
That came out this week?
Yeah, this week.
Okay, I need that.
And I got the great Gwenpool variant
Oh man.
along with it. And it is a great story. I won't spoil it for you, but he gets into some shenanigans after joining with a symbiote. But the sky, like the
Care to eat
sky is the
people.
limit for this kid. I don't know. It's 100% like Grogu, because everything is just like, oh, that's cute.
It's cute. Yeah.
And there is, I have to find it in the first volume of It's Jeff. There's one strip where he steals a bunch of the hero's stuff. Like there's the only words that you'll ever see are Jeff going like "Mrr," or Kate
Growling.
Bishop yelling Jeffrey. That's the only, because that she's like Jeffrey. But he steals
era.
Cap Shield, Falcon's, or now Captain America Sam Wilson's wings,
oh, Lord.
Black
awesome.
Widow's Widow Bite bracelet, the Eye of Agamotto from Doctor Strange, Miles's hood.
I mean,
and then
that's what, like, every season they should just give Jeff, like, a skin related to the season where he steals something from whoever, like, the main.
Wakanda.
Didn't he swallowed all the Infinity Stones or something at one point, didn't he?
His stomach was hurting, so Kate Bishop takes him to the vet, and they do like a scan of his stomach. I just have to show you
Just
because
ate
I
all
have
the
the book
Infinity
open
Stones.
now.
Like, that's fine.
he the whole Infinity Gauntlet. Where's my light?
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah, that's the contents of his
Got a
stomach.
whole bunch of stuff.
Jeff,
in
you
there.
crazy.
Jeffrey.
A license
not the
plate.
Infinity Gauntlet.
The Infinity Gauntlet, a snow globe, a rubber duck, and then Kate Bishop. Jeffrey, what are you?
Somewhere there will be a child whose first word is just Jeffrey.
Yeah.
There's
That's the only word
one.
they can read.
There's one issue where he's super hot and it's summer, and Jeff is he's meant to be in the water. Yes, he can walk
Yeah.
on land, but he gets super hot, and Kate Bishop won't let him sleep in the fridge. That's all he wants to do. He clears all the stuff out of the fridge, and she just comes in and she yells, Jeffrey. So what does he do? He picks up the phone and goes, Mrr. And in the next panel, Iceman is chilling with him, literally in the backyard, holding the hose and making it snow while he does snow angels in the summer.
Nice.
Amazing.
Like,
That's
All
great.
This is what I need.
Yes, Jeff is amazing. I mean, we always mention it. Marvel Unlimited is great for Jeff because those Infinity comics are in there. That was my first exposure to him, and there are a lot of issues of It's Jeff as well as the little spin-offs from that. And I mean, you can tear through these things because if you're not familiar with the Infinity comics, you actually they're number one. They're made specifically for Marvel Unlimited. I mean, Matt, you said they put those trades out, but the original versions of those stories come out in the Marvel Unlimited app, and they're built for the phone. So you kind of just scroll your finger up. So even if you're reading a regular comic, rather than go like panel to panel, left to right, you're actually just scrolling, and the image is just a constant flow. So it's very cool if you've never seen one of them. But the Jeff books are perfect.
I'm telling you, if they made board books for toddlers,
like the golden, what are those
That's what
called?
I need.
gosh.
What are those golden?
Board
You know,
book
the books I'm
money.
talking about with the golden
the
spine.
We have those, yeah.
Neil, you could even get this, take a little cutter and just put them in page protectors and keep it in a
There you
binder. Daughters would love
Perfect.
They did make. I do have Star Wars ones, golden books. Become a Jedi, learn about. I think I got a Mandalorian one.
it. He's
They're
a
great.
good father. But yeah, that's our buddy
Jeff.
Jeffrey.
Good old
This
Jeff.
is the second time I'm being kind of exposed to Jeff. First time being in Marvel Snap. I'm like, okay, there's a new card. It's a shark. It's Jeff. Okay, this guy can move around. All right,
It's Jeff.
yeah, I appreciate the breakdown, and thank you for deciding what I'm going to buy my kids for Christmas.
There is, so I will say there is a plush out there right now, but I believe it's tiny, and it was a New York Comic-Con exclusive, I believe. So you can only find it for exorbitant amounts.
Crazy amount of
online.
money on eBay.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Welcome.
All right. Well, man, what a good hero to talk about. Who are we talking about next week? Did we figure out who we want to be chatting about next week?
Ooh, good question. Do we want to keep on the route of like not widely known heroes, or just like digging into the past of what we don't know about someone really popular? Because there's Luna Snow that's not super
Why don't we do
well known.
Luna Snow? Because I think that's one a lot of players probably don't know her backstory and who she is.
Yeah.
And I think that going into the game's launch, that would be a perfect character to talk about. So people know going in, like, okay, here's her story and kind of how it fits in with all the greater Marvel.
Yes. I was there on the ground floor when she debuted.
So yeah, we'll be talking about Luna Snow next week. So yeah, we'll be jumping into that. But all right, well, let's move on here to our final segment of the show, or part of the show where we get you involved in our email segment that we call What Ifs. Right. Well, don't forget, you can always email the show to rivalsassemblepod@gmail.com, or you could hit us up on Twitter or Blue Sky at rivalsassemble. Or I put out a little message earlier today to our community over on YouTube and said, hey, I'm just asking, give us a question, give us a topic. And we got a response here from Deity503 over on YouTube. He said, asking this question, having never played, do you think with how the roster is looking, the best team compositions will run 3 duelists with some players' escapability, perhaps up to 4? So, you know, in theory, you would think you want 2 vanguards, 2 duelists, 2 strategists. I mean, that's kind of the basic way these hero games. Now, from my experience in playing the game, there were many matches where you would just get 1 vanguard and either 3 or 4 duelists and 1 strategist. I mean, it happened a lot. And sometimes it was viable. If you had a good strategist who was able to keep the team healed up, if you had duelists that were survivable, depending on, you know, who they were playing. And then usually, I think for me, those matches were usually when you'd have a tank that was either Magneto or Doctor Strange. Someone who could actually, or even a group, someone who could actually put up a straight up shield and block the team. If you just had, like, let's say a Hulk, just like a dive tank, if you want to say that, a character that in my opinion, is more of an off tank.
Yeah.
I didn't see it working out that well. But what do you guys think?
I think this kind of goes back to what we talked about last week, is they don't have the locked positions, right?
Right.
So it's not 2-2-2. We don't know
role queue.
yet. So as you were saying, it depends on what kind of tank you have, whether you want one or two, or what kind of healer you have. Strategist. If it's Jeff that can keep everybody happy, you're good. If it's someone like Loki or other ones that aren't very healing heavy, that you're going to need like a secondary one, or if you're going more damage based, it's kind of good that they're leaving it as a open queue kind of thing, right? Because we're going to see how that happens and how all of these heroes work together.
I can see the team composition being a lot more crunchy and competitive. I could see this very much becoming a very popular thing: 3 duelists, 2 strategists, 1 vanguard. Because think about it: if you have Black Panther, Magic, Spider-Man, Winter Soldier, and then like Luna Snow and Doctor Strange, like, disgusting team. Like, just wipe the map. Like, I guess depends on the type of game you want to play.
I think it's also map, right? Is it a push map? Is it the hold a location, whatever they call that one?
And if it is the push, are you on offense or defense?
Offense or defense, yep.
That really makes a big difference.
Yep.
I think it's just, I don't think there is going to be a best. And I think the fact that they can even mess around with the team ups and all that from season to season, I think is going to play a big part in that as well. They're going to be able to kind of play around with that.
I think that will become part of the meta.
Yeah, definitely. So,
with the heroes available now, most are duelists, right? So you got your mostly like your options are there, and then they have kind of different types, right? You've got your melee, your quick get in there guys, your poke types with the long range. So minimum 2, I would say, no matter what, with a short range, long range. 3 sometimes if you've got a good tank, and 4 if you're looking to steamroll and everyone has good survivability.
Yeah, I mean, I would think if you have 2 strategists, 3 duelists, and like 1 vanguard, you would be pretty good. As long as that vanguard, I would say, is not like your off tank. But even then, if your strategist is good, if it's someone like a Jeff who can kind of hang with you, or even like a Rocket, because Rocket to me is, I think, the easiest strategist to play for players in terms of just the straight healing. In terms of his damage and all that, maybe not as much, but if you just kind of link up with somebody and you can run with a vanguard and then have another strategist in the back, you could probably just have 1 vanguard, and then you could get your 3 duelists, and that would be probably a pretty good comp.
Because I would think of it as like your 3 duelists are the ones who are pushing, and then your vanguard might be, guarding your strategist in the back and taking care of those people who are coming for the cart, maybe.
When you watch the IGN video on Hawkeye, he's teamed up with a Doctor Strange, and there are many cases where that Doctor Strange is just standing in front of him blocking him, and that Hawkeye is just pinging those shots. Here I talked about, the match that we got, the ones he's playing like a jumping bean. It's kind of the flip side in that IGN video, now that I'm thinking about it, is he's literally, that Doctor Strange is standing there just guarding him, and he's shooting right through that shield nonstop.
And Doctor Strange is actually, I think that is a very smart pick, because he's got that ability where he develops all that dark energy and then can just explode
it out. Yeah.
And so it's like, if you do have someone who's penetrating that shield and getting close, then it's like, okay, fine, then I'm gonna just go boom, and wipe you out right here.
Yep. I don't know.
Good.
We're just gonna have to see how the meta plays out with that. But GD503, thank you for sending that over. And again, just send us
much better question than GD502.
One more email we got. This one came to us from Mr. Gordy, and he said, with only 14 days left until launch, any guesses on the last 5 heroes to be revealed? I'm just gonna throw.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say the only one I'm gonna throw out there, and like, to me, if this hero is not in the game from the beginning, and there has been some discussion I've heard of this hero, but I have not seen any confirmation, and I can't tell if this is more people just with like pie in the sky and kind of the no-brainer.
Tinfoil hats.
Where is Wolverine?
Yeah.
100%.
Where is
100%.
Logan? Like, why is that? Why have we not seen anything? Like, he is the one that is so just, he has to be in the game. Like, when you have Magneto and you have, I guess Scarlet Witch, you could say, I mean, I guess think of her more as an Avenger, but like, where are more of the X-Men? Like, we need more representation. Like, I could even see a Cyclops. Where your your optic blast. Like, just imagine how amazing that ult would be. Like, just a whole lane-filling blast where he just hunkers down and it just whoosh, this huge cone and just decimates everything in front of you would just be awesome. Like, he takes the visor off and opens his eyes would just be awesome.
Alternate skin, no visor.
Oh, he's got the sunglasses.
Auto
He just
fire.
lifts the glasses up.
He is the turret. That automatically fires. So 100% believe that Wolverine will be one of them, but I could actually see him not as well, because there are so many characters who they already have rolling out at launch that have abilities that I feel would be very present in Wolverine's kit. So how do you make him different, and how do you make him stand out to make people want to play him other than the fact that he is Wolverine? Or do you need that?
I think you do need a assassin type. I mean, I guess the only character that I would think of he would play like is Black Panther, because Wolverine to me would play like, if you've ever played Smite, there's a character Loki in that, and he's just a straight up assassin. Or any MOBA, you always have that assassin character, and to me Wolverine would be that. And he's not going invisible or anything like that, but he's able to bleed when he hits you. You're bleeding because he's going to slash you. He has some sort of berserk mode, and then I would assume his ultimate is him just going bananas and probably almost like this
Unkillable.
Is that too Hulk?
No, because you're justifying it with the claws. It's more like slash damage as opposed to. I mean, I guess we're talking like D&D terms. There is it slash damage? Is it
Piercing damage?
Like piercing damage, whatever.
Magical.
I don't know. Maybe I think we need more of those characters. I guess Magic and Black Panther would be the closest to, I think, how he would play. I don't know. Who do you think, Neil? Anybody else?
I think they need more strategists. As I was saying earlier, one might be Shuri, and she can buff up other people. I think we need somebody else that's like a more support role.
I think a Invisible Woman, some sort of Fantastic Four in here. I mean, I was even thinking like a Mr. Fantastic would be cool, where you're able to kind of just shoot the arms out, and then he can do a shield where he pops up, like just looks like a giant, thin version of himself, and he's able to kind of shield things. I think would be kind of cool. But I think Invisible Woman would be cool. You're able to kind of, think of like how, what's her name? Zarya in Overwatch. You're putting those bubbles on people. She's kind of doing that, putting up her big shield, and that's more her support. And somehow there's like a healing bubble and then a protective bubble, or every time she puts a bubble, it's healing.
I like Invisible Woman when she's more, when she's more of an attacker. I don't know, like when Sue Storm gets like dirty in the comics with like her abilities, when like she creates fields or like
tosses
things
them
inside people and just like pops them, or like puts something around their head and chokes the air out of there. It's like, yeah, I want you to get creative with that power, Sue Storm. You're not just Invisible Girl, you're Invisible Woman. You are the OG. But yeah, I could totally see that.
What about a Silver Surfer?
Oh my gosh,
that'd be sweet.
Yes, because then you could get a Silver Surfer black skin from the comics, which is so good. I actually have a list of ones that I thought of. Wolverine being one.
Ghost Rider
is number 2 on there, because you've got Cosmic Ghost Rider, you've got Danny Ketch, you've got the amazing Nicolas Cage movies. Are we gonna bring him back, make him the voice actor? Come on.
Yes,
he is.
I'm Ghost Rider.
We're gonna steal the Declaration of Independence from
Make him the
with my Ghost Rider.
Asgard.
My head's on
make him the Keanu Reeves of Cyberpunk. Get him off on stage.
There
You're
is.
awesome.
So this is one speculation, but this has been a long time. I think ever since like back with like the alpha of people talking about Ultron being a character, because we don't have, you think about it, we don't have enough villains in the game. Like, I mean, who technically is the villains? I mean, I guess you could say Magneto, I guess. You could say Venom. Loki, maybe. Hela. Yeah. Who else? Like, we need more villains,
Magneto.
Man. I said, like, I mean,
sorry.
Imagine like instead of Wolverine, what if we get Sabretooth?
Jeff.
Or Jeff.
Jeff submitted.
Who else you got, Matt? Who else you got on the list?
I've got Black Widow because I think she's an easy. But there's also a lot of variants that they could reskin her with, that they could pull from other games. One that I personally would like to see, and I think would be a good strategist, would be, strategist or duelist, Valkyrie, the Jane Foster Valkyrie.
That'd be cool.
And that could, work her in with Thor and Loki and Hela if you wanted to do, team ups, cycle through stuff there. You could give her a Mighty Thor skin as, like a season exclusive thing, and just kind of play with her abilities in there. And then, so yeah, those four. And then I held out a spot for an original character.
Oh,
okay, dude. Yeah.
Whether that is like Galactica or Galacta. I'm like, what's her? Is it Galactica?
It's Galactica.
I'll accept either.
Okay, sorry. I thought that I was like having a stroke for a second. Or maybe the girl who, the spider hero that left the spider, the weaver or whatever, that you're in the Shin Shibuya map.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
What I'm talking about?
You know what? I never thought of that, like an original character. I mean, just the fact that they are introducing Luna Snow into this game, an original Marvel character from a Marvel game, right? She wasn't in the comics, and I mean, she is now. But like, her first appearance was straight up Marvel game. No. That's a great thing, dude. I never even thought of that. If they want to build their own story, putting in their own original characters as well, in conjunction with working with Marvel to do that.
I feel like it's a very bold move to do at launch. But I mean, out of
it is, but I think it helps set the tone for for what
the resources they're putting into it.
Right, exactly.
They've got the writers. They've obviously, because they've got this big story set up, right?
Yep.
They're want to throw in some new characters or new variants of other characters. Wow. It's a multiverse. Anything's possible. A couple quick ones I just thought of. Season 1, when they go for the Venom stuff, give me Carnage. There's a villain I'd like to see. And then you can even go with Scream. Yeah. Give me a pack of
them in.
Kid Venom.
Yeah, I think that would be great. And then maybe as another strategist, Ironheart.
That would be a good one.
Or War Machine. Like, give me some more of those characters, right?
Yeah.
What? Oh, I'll refocus here in a second.
Focus, man. Focus.
What if we did get Lockjaw as another?
That'd be cool.
Support, or a strategist. I think that'd be your team just like running around with Lockjaw and Jeff, just like.
I mean, they could even just do like a whole Inhuman season, man. You get Black Bolt, Medusa, and bring in Lockjaw. All that, they may do that.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
But yeah, the sky's the limit. That's the thing about this game. I mean, they even mentioned it in one of the articles. There's like over 3,000 different characters that they can possibly put into this game.
Right.
Although I will say, you know what? I forgot to mention this when we talked about Jeff. I just received recently the new Marvel Encyclopedia.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff is not in the encyclopedia.
Oh,
he's not under Jeff. He's not under It's Jeff. Jeff the Land Shark. He's not in the book. So
what's the publication date? Check the
October.
Check the front.
This is the brand new one. Came out in October.
Oh, a couple months ago.
So
Last month.
I don't know what we're doing
Not
over
my
there,
encyclopedia.
but I think I may need to send it back because it
That's it.
has something
It's
wrong
garbage.
with it because Jeff's not in it.
Can't trust it.
So that's right. But
Big
all
news.
right. Well, let's wrap it up there, guys. Here, as always, big thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget you can always email us, rivalsassemblepod@gmail.com, and be a part of the show, just like those questions that you heard there. All right. Well, guys, next week we will not be recording the show live on Thursday, of course, because it is Thanksgiving here in the States. So happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there who does celebrate here in the States and around the world.
Happy
if you do
Thursday,
celebrate
Neil.
Thanksgiving, and yeah.
Thank you.
But we will be still doing a show next week. I think we're going to record it at some point during the weekend. So be on the lookout, either probably late Saturday afternoon it'll be out, or Sunday. But can't necessarily tell you when we will be doing it live. I mean, I think we still will do it live to Twitch or YouTube whenever we do it.
Do it live.
But again, yeah, you're doing it live. Just be on the lookout for that.
Set up those notifications so you know when it is.
Hit that like and smash that subscribe.
Also, Matt, we didn't mention it. It's a nice shirt you got there, dude.
Oh, this old thing, this
The hoodie?
official Marvel Rivals hoodie with the there's the logo on the back too. It's so heads up, if you want some Rivals merch, I did pay for this. This is from Amazon, so it's their print on demand stuff. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. It is a cheap black hoodie.
That's too bad.
That I probably paid a little bit too much for, but it is the only Rivals merch out there right now. It's comfortable, but it is not the best quality hoodie.
Would you put it in the dryer or would you hang it up to dry first? That's a big thing.
So I actually did put this through the dryer because this is a PSA. You should always wash new clothes before you wear them. I don't want to hear anything otherwise. If you have another opinion, go tell somebody else because you're wrong. You should always wash new clothes. I washed it on cold, dried it inside out on low because that's what the instructions said. Yes, they are there for a reason. And it fits fine. The neck is a little cramped and I don't feel like I got a fat neck. But yeah, it's
cool.
So.
It looks
It looks
cool though,
pro,
man.
though.
I want some Rivals gear myself. So
They got a Jeff shirt. They got a couple different characters and hoodies, tank top, shirts. You know.
cool. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, again, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. And again, however you're tuning into the show, we do appreciate that. And of course, if you're listening to the audio version, be sure to subscribe over there or go check us out. Check out the video version of the show because I think that's kind of the best way to watch/listen to this show now. We're putting a lot of work into the production every week, so go check it out.
To see all the comics that Matt was showing
Yeah,
off.
this is a very listener-friendly show.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
But hey, we're kind of doing that transition to YouTube, man. I mean, we're all kind of more podcasters, and we're getting into this whole video thing, which I think is pretty awesome here. So again, everybody, thank you so much here for tuning in, and we'll be back next week. So until then, everybody, we'll catch you later.